friends, it's Christy. Welcome to day 13 of my 2018 holiday card series. Today I'm going to be making a card using some Lawn Fawn images. I'm using Winter Unicorn and also the brand new A Little Sparkle stamp set that was a freebie for Black Friday. And then the Santa hat is from Cheery Christmas. I've stamped my images out with Memento Tuxedo black ink on some Copic friendly cardstock since I'll be coloring with my Copics today. And I'm doing a very different color combination. I actually was thinking back to when I was a little girl and the My Little Ponies first came out. I'm talking the very original first few that came out, and my favorite one was called Minty, and it was a mint green pony with white hair. And I thought I would color my unicorns to sort of resemble that today. So I'm using G00, G00, and G02. I'm starting with my G02 for my shadows, and then pulling that color out a little bit with the G00, and then I'll fill in the rest of the bodies with the G00. And I'm just going to show one on camera since they're both going to be the same. I used R20 to give them some rosy cheeks and color in their ears. And then for their hair, I decided rather than just going plain white, I would do kind of like a peppermint stripe to kind of go with the mint theme. So it's going to be red and white. And my red combination is R22, R24, and R29. So again, I'm starting with my darkest shades, laying in that R29, kind of accentuating the ends of each strand that I want to be red. And then I'll pull that color towards the center with the R24. And then the R22 is going to be my lightest shade. So I'm just going to fill in any of those little bits that remain. This particular red combo has a very pink undertone, which is going to go well with that mint green for their bodies. For the white stripes, I'm using W00 and W1. So I'm starting with my W1 and doing a little shadow at either end of each of those strands, just like I did the red. And then I'm going to pull that out with the W00 and let that fade into the white area. So the white will be kind of like my highlight. I'm also going to color in the white of the Santa hat, and I also am doing their horns kind of in a red, white, and mint stripe. I wanted the Santa hat and the scarf to also be red, but I wanted to use a different combination so it didn't look like their hair. I wanted to make it clear that this is now fabric and not, the same as their hair. So I'm using R29, R39, and R59, and I laid in my R59 first for the shadow and pulled that out with the R39, and then I'm filling everything in with the R29. I did use the R29 in their hair, so it's going to match really well, but still have that little bit of a different tone. So now moving on to my fairies, which are also included in that little sparkle mini set that was a freebie for Black Friday. I used E51 and E53 for their skin, and then E57 and E59 for their hair. These are so tiny that you could get away with just one shade on their skin and their hair, and honestly their entire bodies, their dresses and wings as well, but I like a lot of contrast, so I did go ahead and use 2 shades on everything. I'm using G24 and G28 to color in their dresses, so it's still going to match with that mint green. Everything is going to be, that green and red, but it's just another variation so that they stand out a little bit. And then I'll go back to my W00 and W1 to give their wings a little definition. And then I'll just trim all these out with the matching dies. For my background, I've trimmed out a piece of pattern paper from the Santa's Workshop 6x6 by Cartabella, and then I also cut out 2 of the puffy cloud borders from Lawn Fawn, and I just used scrap paper because you're not going to see the bottoms of these, and I had all this scrap paper sitting on my desk that I wanted to use up. I'm adding a little bit of glue using the Lawn Fawn glue tube to the area above the stitching line on each of those little panels. And then I'm going to sprinkle some of the chunky iridescent glitter right over that glue so that it has a really pretty shine to the edge. So I'll do a little pinch on each of these, and then if you wanted to, you could tap off the rest into the container once again. I decided not to since there could be a little bit of glue mixed in, and I didn't want to get that contaminating into the jar, but there's so much included in there, and it really was very little waste. I'm going to adhere those cloud borders down to my pattern paper background. I'm using the one with the larger poofs in front, and then the one with the smaller ones is going to get tucked behind. And then I'm going to grab my frame and just double check and make sure that that's going to fit, and then I can go ahead and adhere my images. I'm going to start with the winter unicorn, and that's going to get adhered on the back cloud border on the right hand side, so it's going to be kind of in the top part of the frame, and then the little sparkle unicorn is going to go in the bottom left corner. And again, I'm just using that frame to make sure that everything is not going to get cut off, everything's going to be included. I'll add one little fairy up in the sky, and then I'll adhere the Santa hat onto the little sparkle unicorn, so it makes her kind of a holiday version, since she's actually not a holiday stamp, she's just an everyday stamp for birthdays or whatever. I wasn't sure where I wanted my second fairy to go yet, so I just set that aside for now, and I'm going to work on my sentiment. I am stamping onto an Everyday Sentiments banner that I die cut out of some black cardstock, and I have made my sentiment using part of the a little sparkle sentiment, and then I use the word holiday from Cheery Christmas to make it a holiday sentiment. I'm going to coat that in some white embossing powder, and then I will heat that up with my heat tool until it's all melted and bright white. While I have my MISTI out, I'm also going to stamp on the inside of my card. I'm using Lawn Fawn's Celery Stick ink to stamp out the A Little Sparkle Unicorn once again, and then I have a sentiment from Merry Messages. And her feet didn't show up really well at first, so I just stamped that down a couple of times till I had a good impression. And then I took a few little glimmer marks and stamped that all around her and the sentiment. I've trimmed down the rest of my pattern papers. This holly print is using the Lawn Fawn Stitch Rectangle Stackables, and then the red and white stripe that makes up my frame is using the Reverse Stitch Scallop Square Windows. And I did add some Scotch 3M foam tape to the back of that so that it would be raised up. I'm going to peel off some of the backer sheets just around the window, and then line that up with my background piece and press that into place. And you can see I did adhere that fairy down in the bottom right corner. Then I'll peel off the rest of my backer sheets and add some liquid glue to the back of the background panel, and then just line that up in the center of the card so that there's a little bit of that holly print on both the left and the right. And those leaves are a combination of a darker green that matches the fairies' dresses, and then a lighter green that kind of goes with the mint color of the unicorns. I'm going to take my sentiment banner and adhere that down below the window, and that reads, "Hope your holiday sparkles." And then to tie into that and finish off the card, I'm going to add some of my favorite crystal stickles to all the white areas on my images. So I added it to the whites of the Santa hat, to the fairy's wings, and then also to the white stripes in the unicorn's tails and manes. And then I did also add just a tiny bit to the edge of their horns. And that is going to complete our card for today. I'll give you another peek at the inside, and then I'll tip that into the light so you can see all that pretty sparkle and shine. So I hope you guys have enjoyed day 13 of my 2018 holiday card series. If you did, please be sure to give the video a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You can also hit that notification bell if you want to be sure that my videos always end up in your feed. If you'd like to keep watching, here's 2 videos from day 13 of the previous 2 years of holiday card series. You can click on either one of those. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have an amazing day. Bye-bye.